Today's video has been sponsored by JLC 3DP. The bodywork on the 177 is pretty smooth by itself. There are a couple of really small blemishes and some of the panel lines need a bit of scribing just to get them a little bit deeper. So before I do anything, I'm just going to go over all of those panel lines to scribe them out, make them a bit deeper, more pronounced, and not have them disappear after a couple coats of primer, color, and clear coat. Once they've all been carefully scribed out, I started sanding the body with a 400 grit sanding sponge before moving it into the spray booth for the first couple coats of primer. For the primer, I'm using Mr. Hobby's Surfacer 1200. This is a light gray primer which covers really nice, a bit thicker than normal, and also covers up scratches from a 400 or 600 grit really well, and it does have a really good bite to the resin surface of the body. While the first couple coats of primer are given some time to cure, I moved on to assembling a new spray booth. I was contacted by Vevor about my spray booth. It was looking a bit scruffy, a bit old, and they figured they could replace it with a nice new one. So they sent out one of their spray booths. I will be leaving a link in the description down below. This one is a nice compact unit with built-in lighting system. You can also easily fold it up to take it with you wherever you go. The assembly itself is really easy and simple. You just fold open a couple of tabs and it folds out pretty much by itself. The filters are already pre-installed, so you simply just need to do the assembly, click in the lighting system, and put it in place. So it's out with the old and in with the new. Thank you, Vevor, for sending out this spray booth. It is really nice, quiet, and also does extract the fumes really well. I will be leaving links in the description if you are interested to purchase one of your own. During the installation of the new spray booth, the primer had some time to cure. I then proceeded to sand out some of the imperfections on the bodywork and applied a couple more coats of Surfacer, this time the 1000. Today's video has kindly been sponsored by JLC 3DP. Video has been sponsored by JLC 3DP. If you do not have a 3D printer yourself but are ever in need of a 3D printed part, JLC 3DP has a super nicely streamlined online platform that allows for easy uploading of 3D models, gives you instant quotes, and also real-time order tracking. There is a wide variety of materials that you can choose from, such as SLA, nylon, metal, plastic, or SLS nylon, or even WJP resin. They meticulously manage every step with production times as fast as 24 hours and delivery within just 2 days. Check out what JLC 3DP can do for you at the link below. JLC 3DP 3D printing starts at just 30 cents, and there are coupons up to $70 available for new users. Now, even though I have the luxury of having tons of 3D printers available to me, I did still want to test out their service. So I uploaded some files, selected the materials, and waited for them to arrive. The specific model I was going for was for a sort of desk ornament and also a bit of a paperweight in the form of an automotive item. So I decided to upload a tire and also a wheel. The tire was printed in black resin and the wheel was done out of metal, simply because I was curious of the quality and also wanted to feel the weight of it. I did manage to make a tiny mistake in the scaling. The wheel is a bit too small, or the tire is a little bit too big, so they didn't fit together as well as I'd wanted to. So I added a small amount of duct tape around the wheel itself just to fit a bit tighter inside of the tire, and it does give a bit more shade and depth to the overall look, so it's not that bad of a mistake in the end. I'm really happy with the way that the material is able to be handled. The quality is pretty nice, and also the weight is really good too. Something I wanted to try for a long time, so thank you to JLC 3DP for helping me out with this. Again, if any of you are interested in checking them out, I will be leaving links in the description down below. Thank you JLC 3DP for sponsoring this video. Now back to work. With the final coats of primer now applied and the body nice and smooth, it was ready to test out some colors. So together with Street Blisters, I developed 2 more new colors for their range, and I couldn't really decide which ones I wanted to use. On this one, I was doubting between the silver birch, a nice original color, or a more modern color, Skyfall Silver, which has a nice blue tint to it. So I took out two small speed shapes, sprayed both of the colors out, and then made my decision to go with silver birch. Now, although both of the colors are incredibly nice and they look really cool and would be great choices either for on the 177, I wanted to have this one in a more classic look and go with a certain type of interior color that matches a bit better with the silver birch. So that is what I decided to go with, just starting off with all of those hard to reach, easy to forget spots, and then getting coverage on the rest of the bodywork. Coverage on the first coat went incredibly well, and it pretty much covered entirely in just one light coat. But just to be sure that everything is indeed covered and I didn't really miss anything, I made sure to go over it one more time with a second coat, and that is applied right here. Once that was said and done, I set the body aside to cure for a couple of minutes before applying the two small logos front and rear for the Aston Martin badge, and could then move it back into the spray booth for a nice glossy coat of clear. With that second coat of base now curing for about 30 minutes and the small emblems front and rear both applied, I could move on to, again, starting off with those hard to reach, easy to forget spots for the clear coat, and then applying a generous coat on the rest of the bodywork. after applying this first coat of clear, I set it aside to cure for a bit before moving on to the second coat. And when I took it out to move on to that second coat, I found the coat just to be applied pretty much perfectly. There are some minor imperfections and a tiny bit of orange peel here and there, nothing to talk really about. So I decided not to apply a second coat so I wouldn't get the clear coat on too thick. This coat was pretty nice thin, spread out really nice and evenly to get a super smooth finish, so I wouldn't really want to ruin that or risk ruining it with a second coat going too heavy, applying clear where it doesn't really need to be applied. Again, I just figured good is good enough, and this one is really good in my opinion, so I'm just going to leave it here.